Hello, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Pisces. All right, Pisces, you're up. This is going to be for the week starting January 25th, Saturday. And let's just see what your romance angel messages are going to be for this week. I have a new deck coming, by the way, and I'm going to be using a different deck for the romance messages next week. So you'll have to come back to see that. Let's just see. All right, Pisces. Then we're going to get into your animal spirits. We have passion. Do excuse the background noise, living in the city. Getting to know each other, revealing your inner selves to each other, deepens your bond. And we have codependency. So some of you are dealing with addictions or codependent relationships, right? Let's see what this all means for you. Let's go ahead and get into your animal spirits, Pisces, and then we'll pull out your spread to see what situations you may be encountering this week. And of course, animal spirits can be energies coming into you that are available to you now to handle a certain situation. Certain energies may be suddenly developing inside yourself, qualities, feelings. They can also represent characteristics or personality types of others that you're dealing with, or just in general what you may be going through in life right now. So just take it as it comes to you. If it doesn't apply to you, then that's fine. The Nightingale. Now, the Nightingale is air energy. Beautiful, associated with expressing yourself, right? The Black Egg, more communication. This is associated with the 5th chakra, which is the throat chakra. And then we have the octopus. Wow. So the octopus is a very sort of... I'm going to say it's a codependent kind of animal spirit. This is interesting. Passion, getting to know each other, and codependency with these animal spirits. Let's get right into it. The Nightingale is synonymous worldwide with its beautiful sort of singing voice, right? It is on the exterior an unremarkable bird. It just has very sort of common brown plumage. It's very small. But it's the voice of the nightingale. And so this is, of course, air energy. And this is associated with either it can be people who have obviously a talent for speaking, communicating, singers, right? Songwriters, but also singers in particular. Or it can also just be that this is an energy that's developing inside of you in the sense that you are becoming much more inspired to give a voice to your feelings. You want to express yourself in some way. And so this could be an example of an energy that's starting to develop in you, Pisces, that you are finding yourself more and more with something on your mind that you feel is important for you to communicate to the world, either the world around you or friends around you. And it is something, also the messages or the information that someone who's resonating with Nightingale energy wants to impart is something that's going to be moving, right? Because the Nightingale, the nature of the way it communicates is that it's very moving to listen to. It's very emotional. And it's very inspiring and beautiful. So what you have to say generally is something that is beautiful, that's something that needs to be heard, but you feel very strongly about it as well. Now, the Black Egg is associated with the element of ether or spirit, and it is connected to the 5th chakra, which is the throat chakra. And here again, we're talking about blockages in communication, making sure to sort of remove any blockages in communication that you may have, making sure that your throat chakra is connected to your heart so that you are communicating your true feelings, right? And certainly the Black Egg talks about, if, you know, that's why we see a symbol of a black egg. It feels like a blockage, right? And so generally this is an energy coming into your life at a time when maybe you have felt a blockage in terms of just not being able to express yourself the way you want to or communicate the way you want to. Now is a time for this energy to get cleared out and for you to have a bit more sort of confidence and a bit more motivation to absolutely communicate what your heart is really feeling, really be honest in your communication, and this is all healthy for you. Now, the octopus is an animal spirit that is associated with, of course, water element, but the octopus is an animal spirit that is very sort of draining. This is a character or personality type that's very draining to be around. They oftentimes can really take your energy from you. The problem with the octopus sort of characteristic is that they don't really know any boundaries, right? They mimic very well people around them, but it's a mimicking, right? They don't really understand boundaries, and so oftentimes this is somebody who just really gives too much information, or they may be too involved in your life or in your sort of business in a lot of ways, because the tentacles of the octopus kind of go all over the place. And when you're dealing with somebody like this, the best thing is to put boundaries in place and enforce those boundaries with them, because the octopus is the type of person that, or certainly the type of energy, it may not even be an individual, it may just be an energy that is around a certain dynamic or a group of people where, you know, there is this element of feeling sort of drained, or feeling your energy being drained from you or sucked from you in some kind of way, just because there's too much information going back and forth. They're telling you too much about them. They're requiring too much of your attention. They want to know too much about you. And it's just a real sort of difficult experience. And again, this is an energy that we know when it comes in, it's time to really sort of set boundaries and be more careful, you know, be more sort of intentional about, look, you know, there's only so much I'm going to discuss with you. I'm not going to give you so much of my energy. You know, I'm going to let you know that I don't want to talk, or I don't want to communicate, you know. So it's interesting in a lot of ways that it's almost the opposite of what we're talking about here, where we're talking about being really open and communicating, but also honesty. And it may mean that you need to be honest with this person and let them know. And that's also communicating, but that's communicating on your terms, right? And letting them know, look, you know, I understand you have issues, or I understand you're going through a lot, but I can't, you know, I don't have the energy to listen to all of it. I don't have the energy to answer all your questions about my life. I want to keep things in my life private. And you just sometimes have to enforce those bounds with people. All right, Pisces, let's get right into your spread. Your first outlook for the week. Page of Cups, Eight of Swords, interesting, and Ten of Swords. So right away, here we go with the same kind of scenario. Coming into the week, you have a Page of Cups energy that you're coming into the week with. So this is your energy that you're approaching the week with, and you're met with an Eight of Swords. So your approach is really sort of to open up, to conversate, to talk. You've gotten over perhaps some fear in terms of expressing your emotions, right? Because Page of Cups is all about overcoming your initial fears of wanting to express your love to someone. So this is beautiful energy that resonates very well with getting to know each other. Black egg in terms of getting rid of any sort of anxiety about communicating. And even nightingale energy in the sense that you have beautiful things that you want to communicate with someone. And so this is you coming into the week, but you're met with an Eight of Swords, which is quite interesting. Again, this then brings in this energy of the octopus. You're met with a person or an energy of someone who is very toxic. Talking to this person is very difficult. You find yourself sort of, I'm going to say for some of you Pisces, you find yourself getting to know somebody and being absolutely repulsed by them, because by the end of the week, you are a Six of Swords, which means you're walking away, firmly turning your back. This could be someone who was a new connection for you, or a new relationship, or you're just getting to know them. And as you get to know them, you right away see all of the red flags, because Eight of Swords is the type of person who is a gaslighter. They're very restricted in their thinking, because they won't sort of think outside the box, or they don't give anybody else the time of day, or they don't give anybody else credence for their opinions. You know, this is someone who's very sort of domineering in the way that they think and they see the world. Yet they find themselves oftentimes alienated, right? And so you get this really toxic energy of someone who not only will gaslight you and make you feel like all the craziness is coming from you, but they also then play very much the victim. This is someone who's always like, they're always blaming the rest of the world for all of their troubles, and they never really take their own responsibility. And oftentimes when this energy is an energy that's coming into you, or that you're sort of meeting up against, this is usually indicative of someone or a situation that is very, very toxic like this. And so for you, this is new. You start off very innocently, I think, wanting to get to know this person. And this week, it all comes out that they're really sort of not healthy. By the end of the week, you have a Six of Swords. You firmly move away from them. King of Cups, Nine of Wands, and Four of Pentacles. So some of you are coming into the week, again, feeling very sort of single-minded about your relationships, right? You are sort of in that mindset of King of Cups. And the King of Cups is very sort of passionate. He's very intentional about being sort of the dominant figure in the relationship. He goes after the person that he wants. He goes after commitment and establishing sort of a bond, right? A long-term bond. The King of Cups is about sort of having his relationships on his terms, right? And so this is an energy that you're coming into the week with, and it could be that in some area, some of you Pisces may indeed be sort of taking a real sort of, progressive step in your relationship. It could be that you're the hunter this week. It could be that you have your eye on somebody and you're the one, making the steps forward to sort of get to know them. You have get to know each other. You're the one who feels very passionate. You're the one who wants to communicate. Again, this King of Cups can resonate with a lot of Nightingale energy in the sense that you are wanting to communicate your feelings to this person. But this is with King of Cups, we usually talk about a relationship that you feel very strongly about, that you want to make a commitment in. You're met with a Nine of Wands, and this is interesting because Nine of Wands seems to indicate that this week, part of the energy that you're met with is a feeling of sort of having to look at some of your own issues. It could be that as you come towards someone, or as you're coming towards making a deeper commitment with someone, there is some sort of baggage that suddenly rears its head for you. It could be perhaps an old way of behaving that you've held on to, right? It could be that this is the first time in a long time that you've wanted to make a commitment, and now that you're ready to sort of move forward with this energy, you're kind of like instantly like a sort of old behavior pattern kicks in for you. Maybe fear or anxiety, apprehension, not wanting to make that leap, not wanting to make that commitment. In any case, you find yourself kind of aware of some old baggage that's there for you, some issues that are still there, but you're aware of it. You become aware of it this week. And that's what Nine of Wands is all about. It's about sort of having a recognition of behavior patterns or attitudes or ideas that we've held on to that no longer serve us, that we realize aren't good for us, or that we realize is part of an old you, and now there's a new you, and you don't need to behave that way, or you don't need to think that way. But it's a real recognition of that. And so in a lot of ways, it's interesting that this relationship, or this desire to get closer in this relationship, would bring that up. And it's a healing moment, so it's very, very good. You do round the week off with a Four of Pentacles, which is a fear over financial issues. So I wonder if one of these issues that you have is that whenever you do want to make a commitment, you have a fear of that commitment somehow impacting you financially. It could be that you're one of these Pisces who's really worked a long time to get your financial stability, and the one thing that's always worried you is if you do get married, or if you do commit to someone, or move in, or go to that deeper level, are you going to lose your financial stability, or are you going to lose your independence? And it's interesting that this is kind of the fear that you will round the week off with, especially behind this sort of awakening to a particular behavior pattern. So for some of you, you may need to do some healing there, and some real sort of I want to say shadow work and really looking at yourself and your ideas about, you know, finances and love and how they impact each other in your life, so you can really sort of move forward with a feeling of stability and authority and power, rather than, you know, this Nine of Wands is a great thing for you because you're awakening to a kind of, like I said, an attitude or a way of behaving that causes this fear. And this fear may not even be realistic, right? You may not have anything sort of financially to worry about. It could just be an anxiety. But in any case, this entire exercise for you is really good for you, Pisces, because it feels like this is a real healing moment, and it feels like it's a moment for you to get over something. Because this relationship right now that you want it so strongly. It's a real commitment you're wanting to make. And I think for some of you, Pisces, you're willing to do this this little bit of healing and shadow work here to make sure that you can make that commitment to this person you love. Death comes in, King of Wands, and the Ten of Swords. Wow. All right, this is going to be your last spread. Pisces, death has been showing up for a lot of the readings this week. And it's interesting because death is all about transformation coming in. So in tarot, death doesn't talk about a physical death, but it does talk about this, you know, a strong transformation that happens in your life in all levels that really can't be stopped. You know, it's going to happen. It's nothing you can do about it. These can be a series of events coming into your life, and they really just change everything. And what death brings with it is really renewal. You know, it comes in to sort of take away all of the things that no longer serve you, all of the things that are dead now, you know, that are just sort of hanging around and would eventually just block you from starting again. You know, death has, you know, things that are dead have to be taken away lest they sort of just sit and fester and rot, right? And so death comes in really as a way to cleanse your life. And this could be that you suddenly find yourself having to move, having to change jobs. You may be suddenly finding yourself in a different environment. In any case, this is a real beginning of something new. And it's a good feeling because you round your week off with a Ten of Swords, which is definitely the end of struggle. So it could very well be that this sort of transformation that comes in with this energy is really taking you up out of a period of struggling. You meet a King of Wands this week, and this is this feels very much to me like someone that you are coming across who's going to be really sort of inspiring to you in a lot of ways. This could also just be someone now that you are, perhaps you're going to be working with them or working for them, or perhaps this is a new friend that you've met. In either case, or it could even be a possible love connection. In either case, this person is a very sort of idealistic, very strong, very fiery, very established. I'm going to say they have certainly a certain amount of track record or a certain amount of success under their belt, and they definitely have a track record for manifesting, you know, some of their vision. The King of Wands is someone who has had success in his life for achieving his goals. That's what makes him the king, right? But he can be arrogant at times. He can be obstinate. He can be, you know, selfish at times. That's just the flip side. But for the most part, this is someone who kind of leads by example. So when a King of Wands type of individual comes into your life, oftentimes they are very inspiring in some way. You know, they're certainly domineering. If it's a relationship, they're definitely going to be the dominant sort of force in a lot of ways in the relationship. They certainly have a certain amount of independence. But in any case, it's interesting because I think, Pisces, this person is going to factor very, very heavily in this new life that you have coming on the heels of this transformation. And all of it marks the end of a struggle. So for whatever role this King of Wands plays in your particular situation, this entire new union or connection and this change marks for some of you a real leveling up, right? You come out of a period of Ten of Wands as an end of a period that has been really painful. You may have had a lot of times you've had to pick yourself up. This could be work, you know. This could even be, an example could be at work that, you know, suddenly everything has changed for you. You may have had to work for a really long time for a particular company, what have you. And then all of a sudden, the transformation comes in, the change comes in, the offer comes in. And this King of Wands could indeed be someone in your field that you really look up to, that now suddenly you're working for. And it's opening up all these doors for you. And it's also marking the end of a period of struggle, because you're leveling up financially, you're leveling up with your self-confidence and your achievement and everything. And it's just a period of sort of a higher level of confidence, and certainly a new you, a whole new you, having learned a lot. That's an example of how these energies could play out. They could also play out just simply meeting someone in your personal life who helps you spiritually. In either case, you know, the King of Wands is certainly going to be a figure that is someone you absolutely sort of are inspired by, and that you look up to a certain degree. Even if it's in a love connection, it's kind of like, wow, you know, this is the type of person I've always wanted to fall in love with. They make me want to be a better person. They're certainly going to be the dominant figure. It's a very nice reading, and it's certainly a beautiful sort of life-changing moment for a lot of you Pisces who have really come out of a long period of struggling to come into this great new period with this really interesting, strong new union. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. This is your reading, January 25th to the 31st. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel or like the video. All of that really helps my channel to grow. I love having this channel and this resource to be able to provide these videos. So all of that, those things that you do for me really helps me to continue on. In any case, follow the links at the top of your screen if you want to get a private reading. If you are international or outside of the US or in a country that is difficult to book with, all you have to do is email me, and we can do that via email, the booking and scheduling and everything. All right, guys, but for right now, I'm just going to say, Pisces, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for your weekly. Bye-bye.